The following video contains my personal opinion on the Sonic.exe community. If you are allergic to that sort of thing, I highly recommend you to click off. But if you're a brave soul who's willing to stay, then I hope you enjoy. I have some questions for you. When engaging in an argument, what is the best way to go about it? Is it violence, whether it is verbal or physical? Or is it peace, by being polite and respectful? Do you believe that people have feelings? Do you come up with valid and rational points when expressing about something or someone you don't like? When you put your thoughts into words, do you consider the impact and consequences it might have on the opposite end? And finally, do you know when it's gone too far and when to apologize? Depending on your answers, this highly reflects on the kind of person you are. Some of you might have picked the obvious answers that makes them look like the good guy, when in reality, they act the opposite way. That's what we call hypocrites. And life is full of them. At your home, at your school, on the streets, where you work, amongst your friends, family members, and especially on the internet. These people would be the most toxic you've ever seen, and when they get a taste of their own medicine, they play the victim. Don't give what you're not willing to take. When you threaten someone, are you willing to be threatened? When you insult someone, are you willing to be insulted? When you bully someone, are you willing to be bullied? And if you're doing all that, ask yourself, are your actions justified? Was it the right thing to do? Are your actions valid and morally correct? Do you know who's behind the screen? Some people tend to forget that they are talking and interacting with a real human being. You know nothing about them, and they know nothing about you. This is why people often take this opportunity to show the worst part of themselves, due to the lack of real consequences. We can sort of compare this to someone who's driving down the road. They can be the nicest guy, but suddenly turn into the most toxic person. Why? Because they see everyone as cars. They don't see them as humans. When being on the road, it feels pretty anonymous. Sounds familiar to you? Same goes for the internet. Since they can see the people they are talking to, they see them as things, and things don't have feelings. Since some of these people don't know the difference between real life and fiction, I felt like I needed to address it, because it's really getting out of hand. When a piece of media depicts someone being hurt, it becomes a problem. That's why the possession of real murder, rape, torture, terrorist acts, suicide, kidnapping, and child exploitation materials are illegal, something that would definitely put you behind bars, because a real human being was hurt during the process, thus it shall be punished. But when I look at the Sonic.exe community, this logic seems to be flipped upside down, as to where they treat fictional characters as if they were real people and treat real people as if they were nothing but objects. Proof to that? When I posted my creation alongside a link for her lore page on Twitter for the public to see, I got stepped on hard. People were calling me a freak, a pedophile, a weirdo, and for whatever reason, they kept on spamming the age of consent is 18 and calling her a gooner bait. All of that because I gave Tails some female proportions, and suddenly I'm the evil who shall be stopped. And when I asked one of them what is wrong with my creation, they said something alongside the lines of, "Put some clothes on her, and the design is lame, not original. You took an 8-year-old fox and turned him into a woman. This makes you a pedophile. This is still a child." I'll admit, the design is not the most creative, it's just simple, But the argument that changing tails to look like this would make me a pedo just because, quote unquote, he's a child, is a foolish and stupid argument that can be broken down easily. First of all, this is not Tails, this is a goddess who took his form and added her feminine touch to it. The same way, Sonic.exe is not Sonic. If you've read the lore, which I'm sure you didn't, you'd understand. Second of all, a pedophile is someone who's attracted to children, which I'm not, nor am I attracted to Tails. This only applies to real children, something that actually matters. Like imagine going to the police station and telling them to arrest someone for possessing pornographic images of Amy Rose just because she's 12. It doesn't make any sense, it doesn't work like that, it's fiction, nobody cares, buddy. Like, I think our brains are developed enough to understand that. And third of all, if we're gonna be treating fictional characters as if they were real people, then anyone who has ever used the internet will be effectively fucked, since the amount of violent and gory fictional content out there are enough to put you behind bars. You've played any FPS games? Too bad, you'll be charged with murder. You've watched or produced a horror movie? Well, guess what? You're in possession of snuff films, which are illegal since they are sold for profit at the cost of torturing someone on camera. I think you get the picture right now, and why this argument is just stupid. But I can't expect much from these people, since most of them are edgy teenagers who don't know any better and get easily influenced by people alike. It is much easier to follow the crowd rather than make your own conclusions. Maybe it's due to the fear of being torn apart by these wild animals. Because, yeah, I can only compare them to that. Someone so ruthless, so insensitive, does not deserve the title of being a human. Unless they change. I have been in some deep trouble because of them. Same thing for my defenders, who got bullied, insulted, they got called pedophiles, my server got raided, the page of my creation also got raided. All of that over a fictional character. So what's next? My friend Estaguy probably got the most backlash due to his Sonicexe being a mockery of the original, where instead of murdering, she seduces her victims. And despite it being a Sonicexe, he put a lot of effort into her. After all, she's his creation, he knows everything about her, and when he finally brought her to life, he was just so pleased. That is, of course, until they resurfaced. The trolls kept on going, they kept on bullying him, following him everywhere he goes, and making sure that everybody knows that they were not pleased, that they were mad over a fictional character. They wanted Esta to pay the price. They wanted him dead. So yeah, I got lots of death threats over her. I literally had someone who manipulated me and tried to cancel me for the shit they did. Another one was a pedo who tried to force me to give him ownership of Grimbooba because he was a fucking simp and cared more about a fictional character than my mental health, which was very low at this point. And I can't count the number of people who talk trash about me, calling me a pervert, misogynist, pedophile, just because I drew Sonic with boobs. You never know what someone might be going through, and trying to ruin their life over something so childish is really cruel. I feel like some of these animals are really happy when they get the attention that they desire, even when it's negative. The mere fact that they have been seen and acknowledged is enough to fill their empty shell, but is it really what you want? Do you want to be known as the jerk of the century? Is this the title you're seeking for? And how would you cope when you find out that the person you were bullying has had enough and decided to end it all? How would you feel about yourself? How would you be able to sleep at night knowing that you've participated in this crime? These small mean comments might not seem much to you, but they stack over time, and eventually the weight gets too heavy for one person to bear before they get crushed. Treno, another friend of mine, he mostly speaks Spanish and English isn't his first language, so I won't dive too deep into his tweets. But he had his fair share of criticism, if you can even call it that. Meet Liz, a creation of Treno. She's an obsessed fangirl of Amy who decided to dress like her and mimic her hairstyle. And if you look at the picture, you can already tell where this is going. They complained about the size of her watermelons. So Treno listened to the criticism and gave her breast surgery and even got her lore improved. But even then, the public wasn't satisfied, and when I asked why that is, I got two answers. The first one being,
she's dressed like classic Amy. Even though they grew up, she keeps on the fit. If she was really trying to mimic her idol like said in the lore, she will change her clothes to resemble more the grown-up version of Amy in this universe. Seeing her in the classic Amy outfit makes it all weird. She's mimicking a child. This makes Treno a pedophile.
And the second answer being that Treno draws porn. I don't get it. These people are the very same that complained about the lack of clothes on female characters, and when we do actually give them clothes, they still find a way to complain about it. Wanna know why she's dressed the way she is? Because it looks freaking cool, and because Treno can design his characters the way he wants to. And I don't know if you've noticed, but this problem does not apply to male characters. For instance, Treno also made a female Tails in his universe, whose name is Mela, and to no one's surprise, they trashed on her, just because they saw a woman's body, something that they've probably never seen due to the lack of a mother figure and not going outside. And of course, they bring up the whole Tails is an 8-year-old fox argument again, even though in the lore, she's not. I mean, the lore is progressive, so you see them as kids, and then they grow up. Now I want you to look at this. This is Scream the Rabbit from his universe, completely naked, no clothes, she's now a male, and no one's complaining about it. No one's saying that he's 6 years old and he needs some clothes. In their head, everyone should follow the rule of the canon Sonic, where every male can be naked, but females need some clothes. Sally Acorn. And the second answer says a lot about how the Sonic.exe community, well, I mean, a big chunk of it at least, think that stories should be consumed. Do you believe that a story should be judged based on the attentions and backgrounds of an author, or do you think a story should be judged solely on what it is, without considering the author's background or his attentions? Again, since they are edgy teenagers, they judge things solely on how cool they look, and that's often how the fate of an EXE is decided, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. They are basically working backwards. They won't let characters naturally emerge from their words just for the sake of their personal visual liking. And you know what? I'm starting to think that they might be a little jealous since Sonic is surrounded by pretty women. Just saying, though from what I've seen, Treno copes with the hate better than us. He just doesn't really care. He even jokes about it. Again, this might not be the case due to the language barrier between us, but that's how I see Treno. A chill and talented guy who won't let anyone go through his head. So here you have it. That's all I had to say. Next time you want to criticize something or someone, make sure to know how to make a constructive criticism instead of saying, "Oh, I don't like the way they look, therefore the character and its story sucks and I'm gonna go bully the creator." But I hope you guys will know better than that. But how do we criticize exactly? Well, it's pretty simple. When you're reading the story, yes, you need to read. I know it's scary, but you need to read. You gotta ask yourself, is the story well written? Is the story consistent? Are the characters well established? Does the story make any sense at all? And based on the answers to these questions, you can determine whether something sucks or not. If you want to practice on your criticism skills with that little tip I gave you, I'll link below the page for Lady Tales, Grimbooba, and Liz. Now Liz got 2 pages, one for the legacy and one for the new one. And give your honest opinions this time. Don't judge things solely on look, guys. I also wanted to thank my friends Okami, Estaguy, Treno, Arch, Epic K, Mint, Hollow, Jack Fox, and the many other people that I know. I love y'all. No homo. Stay safe, stay creative. Welcome to the internet. Have a look around. Anything that brain of yours can think of can be found. We've got mountains of creatures, some better, some worse. If one of them look weird to you, it's far from the first. Welcome to the internet, have a seat right here. Wanna see some drama brewing over curvy exes? There's no need to panic, this isn't the end. Don't look away, just let the chaos descend. Welcome to the internet, put your brain aside. Here's a tip for drawing women, here's a user who got mad. We've got transies, word players, and endless pronouns, and a bunch of people hating on fictional characters with fat asses on Twitter and threatening the creator. Welcome to the internet. Hold on to your balls, cause a random guy just sent you memes for you to end it all. They're offensive, not funny, he just sent you more. Don't cry, you know I got this, my bro.